This is something I've been wanting to do for a little while. I want to do the slashers of the decade once a week until we get to the 80s. Because before that, I feel like there's very little, whether it's like Black Christmas or if you can, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and of course Halloween. And then you could get into the giallos, or you could get into Baba's stuff like Twitch of the Death Nerve or whatnot, or even go back to Psycho. But there's not so much. But 80s is where the slasher genre was really born, and then 90s, 2000s, 2010. So you've got 4 decades of slasher movies. So we're gonna kind of start at the end here with the top 10 slashers of the decade of 2010 to 2019. Now, this was a difficult list. I hate to say that. Everybody always says that. Oh, it was a difficult list to make. It really is. I feel like you almost always got to preface this stuff by saying that. It's a difficult one. And plus, I always struggle with in which order to put these things. But this is whatever it is. I'm going to go in order how I felt about it in the moment. I could switch these at any moment and feel just as fine about it. But for right now, this is how it sits. So at number 10, as I said, 2010 to 2019. But number 10 for that decade, we have Victor Crowley. This was a surprise for me because I just revisited the Hatchet franchise, and Victor Crowley was my least favorite of the series. Having went back and rewatched all 4 in a row, it became my favorite of the series, weirdly. I was stunned by this. I really enjoyed the kills. I really enjoyed the characters. I really enjoyed the hot chicks. I enjoyed the comedy. I enjoyed it all, and I didn't like some of that stuff anywhere near as much the first time when I saw it in theaters as I did on the second. And the second viewing to me, or your last viewing, is always the most important, but second viewing seemed to be really, really, really damn important. So yeah, I don't know. Will we ever see a Hatchet 5? I would be open to it for sure. We'll see. All right, next up, number 9. Speaking of next, we have Your Next. Now, this is something that's going to be debated here, but this is my opinion. You should be happy it's even on the list. How about that? But I know that people would have wanted to see this lower, but overall, I do really enjoy this movie. But the thing that carries this film for me, more than anything by far, is our final girl. The final girl in this movie is arguably the best final girl in film, in slasher history for me. I just love this chick. She's the final girl you've always wanted to see. She's the final girl you're always rooting to see, and you just rarely ever get her. You kind of get her a little bit, like Nancy fighting back against Krueger in Nightmare 1, where she's setting up the booby traps, and she really does kind of give him a good run for his money, but nothing like the final girl in Your Next. And that's the thing that sticks out the most for me, is the final girl. So I feel like this movie is on the list purely because of her. And while I do like everything else in the movie and some of the kills and whatnot, she is the best, but that's just not good enough for me to put it higher up on the list, and there's my reasoning. All right, next up we have number 8, which is Hush, from Mike Flanagan. Now, this one got put on the list because it's a great movie, but it's lower on the list because A, I've only seen it once, and I'd love to watch it a second time, so maybe it would move up or down, and 2, because this is barely a slasher. I mean, so much barely that I'm still kind of iffy on it. I even should have put it on the list, because this is more of like a home invasion movie. There's very little slashing. There's a lot of stalking. I think there's only one death that the killer has in this movie, one kill in the movie, that I'm remembering off at the top of my head. So that's kind of why it's a little lower, because it's Mike Flanagan. I love the dude, and I would like to put this higher, but I need to watch it again, and I need to really contemplate whether or not this should even be on this list. But it is what it is. For now, it sits at number 8. All right, number 7, we have the extremely gory, mean-spirited sequel, Wolf Creek 2. Shit, man. That opening police car death, all that stuff, and then just the absolute mean-spiritedness, as I said earlier. I love how fucking brutal this movie is. This is such a brutal film that I could not help but want to throw it on this list. Speaking of, if I'd be curious on if Downrange is considered a slasher. It's all a gun, so could it be? I don't think so, because people are, oh, Terminator's not a slasher because it's guns. And I'm like, it's a slasher with guns. So is Downrange one? Because if Downrange is one, man, I don't know. Maybe I'd replace Hush on here with that, because it's fucking gnarly. It's gory as hell. The characters' decisions are idiotic. The acting is trash. I don't care, though. The kills are incredible. There's so much gore in that film. Great, great stuff. Anyways, moving on. So, Wolf Creek 2. If you haven't checked it out, and I really want to watch the TV show, but I keep waiting for that second season to be somewhere so I can watch it. All right, number 6. We have a fucking movie that I wrote an acronym for. And I'm really annoyed with myself right now because I don't know what this acronym is, because I wrote this fucking list like a week ago, and now I'm staring at it. And me wanting to do one take, I'm really angry right now because I'm sitting here like, what the fuck did I just write? Oh no. No, you asshole. What the fuck is this? That's annoying. That's super fucking annoying. It's funny because I didn't even like look through a list. I'm recording videos and boom, I just hit it. Boom, I just hit it. Boom, I just hit it. I just go from one to the next to the next. Wow, what a joke. So fuck. What an asshole. What a fucking asshole. The Strangers Pray at Night. The Strangers Pray at Night. Why didn't I just write that down? Fuck. So I had to edit. Wow, that sucks. But whatever. It is what it is. Damn it. Anyway, this is one that will piss people off, because I know a lot of people don't like this movie or feel like the first 2/3 of it are trash, and then like the only good thing is the third act. But I feel like the third act is so strong, and I love the style of it, and I love the soundtrack choices, and I love so much about that third act that it really just elevates things for me. It might be too high on this list, honestly. Like, as I'm saying it, I have to admit the first act is not that great. And something like Wolf Creek and such are probably better films. So I'm already... This is the worst list ever. I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't even know why people watch this channel sometimes. I swear. But whatever. They watch it, and I love you guys. So there you go. But, the pool scene alone, I think I feel like the pool scene is definitely one of the most iconic scenes in slashers of the decade, for sure. Like, I can't think of many better sequences in 2010s for slashers. So that's such a fantastic scene. I feel like that maybe... No, fuck it. I stick to my convictions. I'm putting it in number 6. And if you don't like it, then please keep watching. I don't know. All right, number 5. Here's another one people probably don't care for, but I don't give a shit because I love this movie and I find it to be such a blast. And I also really enjoy the sequel as well, and that is Happy Death Day. Now, this is a PG-13 slasher, making it into the top 5 of the decade for me, but it's all about Tree's character and her journey throughout, her self-discovery, all that stuff. I love Tree. I love Lamp. No, I love Tree, and I love how this movie plays out. I think it takes the Groundhog Day idea and expands upon it, adds some new interesting things to it, and the way they play this out, just so fun. And I really do hope we get a third one eventually, but I won't hold my breath. All right, moving on. Number 4, we have Girl House. This is just a great slasher. Like, I've seen people, I posted this list, and someone told me they absolutely hated Girl House, and I was just like, okay, you're a slasher fan, you hated Girl House? That's fucking crazy to me. Girl House is a fucking great slasher movie. You have hot naked chicks, you have great kills, you have a really wicked looking killer, you have a intimidating killer. The dude just looks freaky as shit. The kills are all great. Man, no way. This movie's rad. I don't understand if you're a slasher fan. One movie I really wish that I could have put on here, and I just have to give it a quick honorable mention. Shout out to Daniel White, the only guy that seems to love this movie as much as me. I couldn't put it on here because it's more of a goof. It's more of a spoof movie, but that is Lumberjack Man. I love this movie. You don't know anything about breakfast. If you haven't seen the movie, please check it out. A killer carries or like carts around a huge stack of pancakes and slits people's throats upside down over it to syrup his pancakes. I love it. I love it. It's such a stupid ass movie, but I have to give it a shout out. All right, moving on to number 3. This was a fucking phenomenal slasher movie, and my review says as much, and that is Terrifier. Yes, Art the Clown, probably the most memorable slasher icon of the decade for sure. That's the one you're going to show, and it's going to be instantly recognizable to most in the horror community. So obviously it has probably the most graphic kill in slasher movies of this decade, the most memorable one, and some people I know were squeamish and I actually had to look away, so that says something right there. But yeah, Art's great. The movie is a great slasher throwback, and I look forward to Terrifier 2. Hopefully that makes the list for 2020 to 2029. Holy shit, will my channel still be around? Will I still be around? God, well, that would be grim if I'm not. People will look back on this and be like, did he know? I did. All right. Number two. This film is not in English. If you've seen me review this one, I did it for Slasher Sunday. It is phenomenal and probably the most brutal film on this list, and that is the Chinese film, which I think I called it a Japanese film in my review, which I'm an asshole for saying that. It's Chinese, and that is Dream Home. Guys, if you haven't seen Dream Home, please watch this movie. It is absolutely gruesome and awesome. Great characters. Great character. I love the killer. It's mostly primarily focused on the killer in the movie and just her desire to own this place that she wanted to since she was a kid for her reasons, which they're developed throughout the film. But man, what an absolute brutal movie. The kills in this movie are insane. Just insane. Probably the best. I'll say, if I had to pick the movie that has the best kills of the decade in the slasher genre, this is it. This is absolutely it. Oh, No One Lives should have probably been on here somewhere, maybe. No One Lives. Great movie. I don't know what it would replace, but No One Lives, a great one. So, another honorable mention. All right, I'm sticking to my convictions. Number 1, this should come as no surprise to you if you watch my channel, but the number 1 best slasher of the 2010s, indisputably for me, is the Maniac remake with Elijah Wood. This film is just brilliant in every way. Elijah Wood is freaking amazing. All the chicks are absolutely stunning. The kills are memorable, gory. The imagery, the story, the acting, the cinematography, the atmosphere, the soundtrack, the score. Holy shit, this movie is perfection. It's just dark and gritty and ugly and gorgeous at times, and I can't say enough good about it. It's a perfect 10 out of 10 for me, much like that girl that's dancing around to Goodbye Horses by Q Lazarus. But yeah, so Maniac. It's got to be Maniac. I'm not going to disagree with you if you pick something else as your number one. But if you don't even have Maniac in your top 10 of the decade list, I really have to question how much you love slashers, because Maniac is slasher perfection. It actually takes something and makes it unique. We get this POV, but then it kind of goes third person at times. And fuck, Elijah Wood's performance is incredible. That scene where they like rip apart his face, and the gore in the movie is incredible. Like when they're ripping his body apart and the skin and all that. Like, how is it not real? I guess it isn't, but you know, oh man. Anyways, that was fun. I will get to the top 10 slashers of 2000 to 2009 soon enough. So I will see you next week. Adios.